been a long time before I did a video on this channel because I've been a bit busy, and I've only been doing much videos on edutainment for us. But no worries, you can still watch the videos I did earlier. So today I'm going to do a very quick video, maybe 30 minutes maximum, right? Because I'm a little bit so much into, the daytime activities in a manner that I don't have time between my task and whatever. But I'll try so much. Maybe I'll be doing once as a skip. Then on Sunday, automatically I must do a video here, okay? So, guys, don't think that I'm gone. I'm still here. And welcome to our political channel with a lot of sagas in air. And of course, today, I was just observing how Banisa MP, the MP that was chosen, do you know what he testified today? He testified that the voters who actually did vote for him came from the interior of Ethiopia. What a surprise. Now, remember, people have been talking about this. Ruto actually pulled down the aspect of vetting in Kenya. Did you know why he did that? He understood very well that now he doesn't have the mountain, or if he has, the numbers have gone down. He's not very sure about the Western, bloc vote. And I'm not sure about the Nyanza. Maybe the people from Nyanza can communicate if you're on this channel and tell me. But after knowing that, he decided to pull, into the external walls. And that is why a lot of Ethiopians, Somalis, Rwandese, and even people, I'm told, there's somebody who told me that we have individuals from these Arabic countries that are easily coming in Kenya because they understand Kenya, you can easily be a crook and survive, You can run business in Italy. And if you have really done business in Italy, to those outlets and seen the kind of people who are selling products there. Now, what does this tell us? Soon or later, we are going to have a scenario in Kenya whereby, in fact, some foreigners are going to acquire citizenship in Kenya, and they may vie for posts, and they may get it. You tell me, if somebody from Ethiopia comes and maybe gains ground in, whether it's Garissa, Isiolo, Marsabit, or even Isili, then vies for a position of MCA, do you think those people will fail to vote him in? They'll vote him in. And then later on, what will happen? Because these people will now have access to judiciary. They'll have access to executive and so many other arms in government. Now, I'm just worried about what will happen. But then, I shouldn't be worried so much because I can't be here for so long, right? Of course, we are moving. But then, what about our children? What about our grandchildren? It's dangerous, right? Because these people have different cultures, they have different customs, they have different likes or desires. And the boundaries, or rather the borders, have been opened. So people can easily walk into Kenya. Now, we realized that recently, the Jubaland army really came into Kenya. And it was talked about, but it was never concluded. Again, recently we saw the Ethiopian army. They have invaded Kenya on the other side of Turkana, and they were attacking people easily. Now tell me, what is happening? Does it mean we don't have security enough? We also had people talking about the invasion of the Ugandan army during the time of protests and Sabasaba. Of course, these are allegations that were put. And we may not just say now it's a lie because the Banisa MP that was just elected said this. Let's just this is what he said. I want to bring to you that. Hizi mataifa inaangalia mipaka. Ukienda Amerika, taifa kubwa inazuia watu kuingia. Wengine wataingia kwa jeshi, wataingia kwa polisi, itafika mahali escort president atachukuliwa na atakuwa mgeni, atakuwa Mkenya. Finally be unfolding. These things ziko na serious security implication. Ndio kitu ya kufanya kiolala namna hii. Itafika mahali hawa watu watakuja kwa wingi, hata MCA atachaguliwa, hata MP atachaguliwa, hata governor atachaguliwa, hata msumbukiwa president atachaguliwa na atakuwa mgeni, atakuwa Mkenya.
wengine wataingia kwa jeshi, wataingia kwa polisi. Itafika mahali escort commander wa president mwenyewe atakuwa mgeni, hatakuwa mgeni. Hizi mataifa inaangalia mipaka. Ukienda Amerika, taifa kubwa inazuia watu kuingia kwenye taifa lake, wanazuia. Itakuwaje a small undeveloped primitive country inafungua mpaka namna hii ili watu wakuje bila wanataka? Tutakuwa na nchi wapi?
For years. All right, guys, so let's just start from there. Of course, this is a very genuine concern from Natembea, who raised eyebrows saying that opening borders for anybody to come in is a very dangerous thing for a country. One thing is, maybe the government currently thinks that they are going to benefit. Of course, they'll benefit, maybe be voted in. But after that, what is the aftermath? What is the aftermath? Because when a foreigner comes in and gains strength to run business and manage whatever they can in a country, anything can happen, okay? And the citizens will be held under hostage, under siege. You know, new stuff will be coming in. There is nothing we will do. We will only be there to regret, but we will not have any other thing to do in our own country. Now, when I talk about politics, some people say keep quiet, but I'll not. Because I guess all I have to do is to speak or keep quiet, and I'm not comfortable keeping quiet about this, okay? Kaltuma Ahmed, what are you saying? So let's check into Banisa and see what was being revealed here. What is happening? The network, sometimes the network here is a bit poor. The network is a bit poor, but I want to show some video here, right here. So let me just wait until it's playing, then I'll be playing that video for you. Because I'm doing an analysis. Kaltima says, what is it? Where? Where? How? When? Where? Wow. All right, so
hizi mataifa inaangalia mipaka. Ukienda Amerika, taifa kubwa inazuia watu kuingia kwenye taifa lake. The interior of Ethiopia, we had to...
Yes. So remember, Natembea is showing a concern, which every country has concern about. Of course, you are free to go in any country and do your business, but as a foreigner, you know, I cannot come from here, for example, and go work in Ethiopia and then own anything there. I cannot even go to Australia, work there and own anything there. You get it? And if I have to own, there are some specific policies that have to be followed. Collins Yebei, welcome. But now it happens to be like Kenya. We are just opening up the borders and anyone can walk in and do whatever they want to and go back. Now, I don't know whether you remember the story of the slain lady plus the two daughters in Isili. Do you remember that story? Margaret Njari, welcome. So that story happened because there was a foreigner who came from, I don't know, was it Somali? He had been in the army, then had been laid off. Now he came to Kenya and pretended to be a taxi driver. Unfortunately, what happened, this guy ended up killing a woman and the daughters, which was very unfortunate, a very brutal death. I found it very bad. And up to now, I don't know what initiatives have been taken to control such things from recurring. Because now what we are seeing, we are not rejecting that foreigners should not step in Kenya. But then, should they be given rights to owning, like just getting to be to acquire documents, even to vote? Now, I want you to listen to what the MP of Banisa said here. Let's just listen to it, okay? All right, here we are.
Most of them from the interior of Ethiopia and other countries.
I want us to start from a little bit back. Though the network is so poor.
And drought there is on another level. Even the people who voted for us, we had to pick Ethiopia and other counties that are neighboring us just because they have left with their livestock.
That single admission that residents who had crossed into Ethiopia and neighboring counties were mobilized and transported back to vote has triggered one of the most heated political conversations Kenya has seen since the last general election. Because for many Kenyans, especially in urban centers far from the northern frontier, this moment feels like something deeper, something they have long feared might finally be unfolding.
These things have a serious security implication.
All right, so guys, remember America is one of the most developed worlds that should not even worry about their resources. But currently, if you've listened to Trump, in fact, if you listened to the speech yesterday, Trump was talking about, Minnesota, and particularly the aspect that welfare money is being misused. He was referring to some foreigners as garbage. I don't want to quote particularly where because I talked about it in another channel. And this means that people really, leaders want to protect rights. You will not go to America and vote today. You're not going to go visit America and become part of the country easily. Okay? And this is one of the developed nations with a lot of wealth. And that is why Natembe was questioning, why should Kenya, a country that is primitive, maybe some people will take that and use it for political mileage and blogging and all that. But really, when you look at us, we are still under third world, as much as our president is telling us that anytime we can be a first world country, I don't know how soon. And yet, we are allowing people from different nations to just come and become citizens so easily, and even to vote. How does someone from Ethiopia come and vote in Kenya? I don't understand this. I don't just get it. But be aware that for 2027, there are people who are actually registering, and they are not even Kenyans, from all over the borders, from Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Zaire. We have a lot of Singaporeans. We have people from Arabia, Somali. They know that Kenya is actually potential in business. They can easily import things because these people are networked. They are connected. And they are not just coming to conduct business in Kenya. All they are doing is create an avenue. Once they step here, they buy land. Because again, the kind of money they offer for land is so high for the landowners. And landowners don't know what is happening. They just accept it. But once you sell to one, another one comes and comes. Soon you'll be a squatter. And I don't know whether the owners of this land have a better place they are purchasing. I hope so. And relocation is happening. You realize that Isili currently, a lot of foreigners have invaded. And it's not just Isili. Come to Jogo Road. Jogo Road has been invaded by a lot of Zaire people and Rwandese. And then we have areas which have been invaded by Sudanese people. So Kenya has become a hub of so many foreigners, and recently I had our president protecting them and saying that they deserve to be like citizens. And I was like, there's no problem in that, but don't we have policies, conditions, laws, what will actually subject them to the rightful procedure in which even us as Kenyans, if you go out there, whether it's Kuwait, Lebanon, Arabian countries, American countries, those other nations, we could have the same rights. Would we have the same rights as what people are getting in Kenya? Look at what happened in Tanzania the other day. People are being thrown away, some of them just perishing. We saw in Uganda what happened. Kenyans stepped there, they were called demonstrators. So can we have that access elsewhere? Not easy. If you ask me, it can't happen. No country can give a free ticket to people to walk from other nations and just step there and become easily assimilated and powerful. It can't happen. But it's unfortunate that Kenya were doing it. But anyway, let me listen to the concept that is being shared here by Banisa and
we're not even talking about animals now. We're talking about human beings.
So when the by-elections are called for 27th November, local community networks swung into action. Politicians mobilized transport, clan elders relayed messages deep across the border regions, and residents who had moved into Ethiopia and neighboring counties, began streaming back home.
This morning I had several calls from my constituencies of tension brewing among the clans. You know, Banisa is hotspot for interclan tension, and mostly this tension, this conflict arises from the meager resources that we have there. Water, in fact, is one of the source of conflict.
In the final tally, Ahmed Maalim Hassan of UDA party received 10,431 votes, nearly 90% of all ballots cast. His opponent received 1,240.
So you realize that there is a lot of crooked business in this exercise of voting in Kenya. I don't know, will the sanity of election ever come back in Kenya? I really doubt. The sanity of election has been raped and robbed at the same time. So it might be so difficult to actually take it back to where it is. Once a virgin and you lose it, never will you be, okay? You get it? I'm sorry to use that kind of language, but that's exactly what it means here. Now, let's get to analyze some other things. Now, remember, Trump is actually rejecting, even supporting places like South Africa. He's also rejecting helping Nigeria and Tanzania. Do you understand why he's doing this? He is doing this because he is trying so much not to help nations that are not upholding values. I don't say that Trump is quite a clean man, but then they have a right actually to ensure that they are supplying the right materials and right resources to people who are conducting themselves correctly. Now let's just check into something here that was just passed some minutes ago.
Imagine conducting every part of your research only on one platform. Meet Boreum.
Kosa la serikali awamu ya sita kueneza huduma bora Tanzania, hilo kosa letu.
When leaders ignore warnings, consequences follow. Today, those consequences are coming fast for Tanzania's top office.
What happened before, during, after the elections in Tanzania was regrettably no surprise.
The United States has shifted from patient diplomacy to a full-scale review of its ties, and Europe is pressing harder than ever. What unfolds next could redefine Tanzania's standing with major powers that once treated it as a stable partner in East Africa. The tipping point came after President Samia Suluhu Hassan appeared on camera praising her security forces for killing dozens of civilians in the chaotic aftermath of the disputed October.
Yeah, so guys, remember in Tanzania it became chaotic. Yeah, it actually turned chaotic, and I did a lot of videos on this. I don't want to go back to it, but you understand that there was a lot of bloodshedding. Mwana Nyamala Hospital, of course, there was a lot of crude business happening, and then the mass graves that have been hidden all over Tanzania, the trash of not just paper, but bodies that we saw in Tanzania. And up to now, there are so many people whose families are still looking for, if you ask me. Now, from where I stand, I wish actually the president would be even just kind of apologetic or remorseful about it. Unfortunately, she's not. I didn't know that mothers can be such cruel, but I'm not in doubt. Modern times have taught even mothers to desert their kids on the streets, right? Some of them are doing it. We have a lot of brutality happening. Even some mothers have decided to, enliven their kids just to go away and have their lives. We have seen it, right? And they come out and start to blame maybe Satan or whatever, but they are the Satans themselves. Now, what I can say generally in my view, Suluhu has turned into an animal. Brutality is at its cost, because when you look at what she's doing, she's becoming worse than the former president. Now, she doesn't care about human rights. She doesn't care about the lives that are being lost. She doesn't even care about the relations, the cooperation between Kenya and Tanzania or even any other neighboring countries. What she has is to ensure that she maintains power. They say power corrupts, but absolute power, I don't know. Do you get it? I hope you get it. So what has happened with Samia is that it has got into her brain to a level that she can do anything. And when she stands to speak, she's speaking with a lot of arrogance that she doesn't even mind whether the Europeans are saying they're not going to support her and they are going to, stop supporting. Remember, the first time she just had to talk to the Parliament of Tanzania, she clearly said that the citizens should now be aware that in the second session of her term, there's going to be limited resources. And she said very well that Europe or America generally are not going to support her fully. And therefore, they should be just ready to use the released resources. What does this tell you? This is somebody who has just decided that let it be what it be. In Kenya, we say katambe, katambe. And that is exactly what she has chosen to have. Now, look at what she did after people had been, reminding her of the brutality, talking about Nifa. You remember Nifa who said nyui, nyui, nyui? The one who was dancing about nyui, nyui, nyui? All right? So she had been put in because of treason. However, this lady had innocently danced on content creation on her TikTok. And people are so happy they followed her. And of course, she had been selling masks in her shop. Now, people urged her. The mother also came out to speak, but Sulu was not listening. That is what happened when a mother decides to be wild, okay? Now, after that, she came out yesterday, unfortunately, and said that Tanzania has no regret even to ICC, and they'll not bow to anything. And if they are being asked questions, what did they think that they could do, and yet they had the arms? Could they use them or not when the country was almost conducting a coup? What was she trying to imply? Power is more important than the citizens. You get it? She doesn't care whether people will be there to be. I remember you, Melanie. Thank you so much for coming back. And it's almost 9. But you are in Nairobi, you said, right? I remember you very well. You said you are in Nairobi. And I thought by now you should be sleeping, but anyway, why not? You can watch a little bit. We are not going into a very long video. I just have like 10 minutes to finish my video. So welcome, and you can be going back and checking. Unfortunately, I've not been doing videos on this channel because I've been a bit busy. I've been focusing more on the monetized channel. That is edutainment for us, but I'll try more to actually even throw here a video of 10 minutes, 7 minutes, sometimes just shorts, a mixture of some pictures and videos. I hope that will keep you, you've said I sleep 3 a.m. That's too late, right? Why do you sleep at 3 a.m.? I hope you're not into addiction, phone addiction. Because if you're into phone addiction, sometimes you'll keep watching up to that time. And when schools open, you'll be affected. You'll be affected by how you can concentrate in class. You can't even be able to learn through our own conservative ways of teaching in Kenya, because not all schools have digital, remember. So if you study into the effects of digital, when you watch so much of that, you can't be able to pay attention in class. When teachers come, you're bored. You can easily switch off even in 10 or 15 minutes. Because you have been so much online, okay? But I don't discourage you from watching. It's okay for you to watch once in a while, but then becoming an addict, like watching up to 3 a.m., I hope not, okay? That's just an advice as we go by. So anyway, thank you. So let's proceed into our analysis. I've talked about Tanzania, and I think I'll talk about it every now and then. There is a lot. Now, remember, Trump is dealing with a lot of matters. Being a president of a developed nation, recently he was on Ramaphosa's neck. Some part of it was unreasonable, but some part of it was okay. And when you look also at Nigeria, he was a bit unreasonable by saying that he will send compass to Nigeria. But remember, Boko Haram and the other group are doing a lot of ills in Nigeria. Recently, you've seen how children have been taken from schools and abducted left and right. Some of them, we don't even know their fate yet. And the president of Nigeria is like unable to handle that. We've also seen what happened in Guinea-Bissau. And we saw what happened in, where else did we discuss the matter before that? Uganda, you've seen what is happening to Chagulanya. And then we've seen the Botswana is okay, but we looked at Cameroon and Cote d'Ivoire. You remember that? So, of course, when these nations talk, sometimes they look like they're really into other nations. Of course, when you look at Ghana and Botswana, they don't want the intervention from foreign. They are saying Africa should unite to deal with their matters. But do you think somebody like the president of Guinea-Bissau or rather that of Cameroon or Cote d'Ivoire would want to unite with a country where they are straightforward like Ghana and Botswana? They cannot. And that is why you are seeing our president is running to Uganda, because Museveni, actually anybody who trusts in Museveni as a person who is focused in growth, yet he believes that the only way to oust him from power is to go to the bush. Anyway, I don't say that Museveni doesn't work on development, he does, but at the same time it's very unreasonable to say that because you had to suffer for you to make it, other people must also suffer to get it. Do you get that? Melanie tells me I'm a Kikuyu, no problem. Don't even worry about whether you're a Kikuyu, Luo, or Meru, or whatever. I'm okay with anybody watching my channel, and you're welcome here. And you just have to be a proud Kenyan and try to learn some things here and there. For example, if there's something they are teaching you much in school, you can even start that. If you like content creation, you start that and we'll keep watching you. Don't worry about your sub-tribe or tribe, because these tribes are just like clothes. Today I can wear black, tomorrow I can have blue, the other day I can wear yellow or red. So they are only there for identification purposes, but diversity is also interesting, because actually I would want to learn something. I have a lot of friends from Kikuyu people, Meru people, Luo people, Kisii, and all around. I don't actually have seclusion on who to relate with. You get it? So thank you so much. And let me get to my third point of discussion in this point of view. Now, we have a lot of political battles that are going on, but all I see in politicians is drama. They conduct these, kind of fights, which are not actually fights. They are fights in court. They'll create a lot of fights, but for their own interests. They are not selfless, right? Imagining that yesterday Gachagua would invite Sifuna and Babu to his DCP, tell him that if they are sent away from ODM, they should willingly join DCP. Can you imagine that? And at the same time, this is the guy who was impeached by Sifuna. Sifuna stood, and you remember what he said. I can remember because I follow closely politics, and I remember what he said. You get it? Yeah. So he said that he cannot be one of the friends. And now, on the other side, we are seeing like Sifuna is more of supporting Gachagua. Okay? Yeah. And not Sifuna. Sifuna is not supporting Gachagua actually, but he's more of endorsing Kalonzo Musyoka. You get it? Yeah. So that part of Sifuna seems to stand more with Wiper than DCP. But anyway, that is exactly the message. If you are sent away after the buying of ODM, if Sifuna and send away from ODM, they should be free to join DCP, or maybe the other party, that is Wiper. Would you imagine that Wiper would relate with DCP? I just want to ask you that so that you can see the scenario of politicians. Politicians have their own class, while the citizens have their own. I am waiting for that day when there will be a party that will rise to stand for the citizens. So far, I've not seen it, because what I can see is selfish people who are there to actually lay propaganda, some of them also to talk against each other, but for their own interest. And that is why, for a long period, the opposition doesn't want to stand up and say what they stand for. They are always saying, let us deal with the agenda of this, then later on we can handle other matters. Why? Because they don't want to be accountable. They don't want to be. Now, currently we are seeing a lot of clashes among these politicians, and I just want to bring something here. I just want to bring something very quick. We are into 28 minutes. We are into 28 minutes. And possibly we may go 10 more minutes. Just 10 more.
My work is easy because I use ClickUp. Here's how I get perfect notes from every meeting. I click this toggle to send my...
Yeah, so let's listen to this. Now, recently, you remember Murkomen came about to call upon chiefs. Chiefs were called to do retraining. Now, this is a tactic that was used by Kibaki. It was also used by this guy, Uhuru Kenyatta, the second session, and now Ruto is using it. Now, ask yourself why these people use call upon chiefs to go retrain when they are going into the second term of election. Now you remember during the Kibaki time, they said that those chiefs who had been told to ensure that they enhance staffing. Then it came to Uhuru's time again, something like that was said. And now this allegation is coming back. Murkomen just called them recently. Ryan, you're saying Ryan sent $10, enjoy. Really? Okay, thank you if you did. So let's look at this.
The other day, Murkomen was on record saying that he'll deal with this issue of goons. I mean, since when did the devil begin to fight himself? It doesn't make any sense, right? And Ricky G basically said as much, but in a more brutal way. Basically, he just decided to latch onto Murkomen's ankles, drag him into deep waters, and drown him. Just listening to this walk down of Kipchumba Murkomen by Ricky G. Roll the tape.
And you know, I have seen police saying, ati watashitaki vijana hapa Nairobi. PS Remo Domolo ndio alipanga hiyo fujo ya Kariobangi wakiwa na ma-MCA ya ODM. Sasa nimeona wamekamata hao vijana hapo Wajaluo, wapeleke hao kotini. Why are you not arresting the MCAs and the PS internal security? Siku tulipigwa airport, Murkomen ndiye alitoa pesa ya goods. I saw him yesterday. We cannot allow goonism in Kenya. Murkomen, it is during your reign as CS Interior that goons have become part and parcel of the National Police Service. You should be ashamed of yourself. Saa unavaa ya bei kali na viatu, lakini wewe ni ovyo. It is during your reign as CS Interior that police have been escorting goons to rain terror on the people of Kenya.
All right, guys, that is Ricky G for you. And I don't think he's speaking for us. He's not even speaking for himself, right? He's possibly just unleashing the dragon and actually dragging Murkomen into deep waters, then drowning him, right? And when you look at what he's doing here, he's making us aware of some things we don't know. Ricky G may not be such a good politician, but at the same time, he gives us many secrets we didn't know. So many secrets that we are not aware of. Now, do you understand what information has just been given here means a lot? It implies a lot, not just to me, but to you too. Because today, maybe you'll be there defending. Then tomorrow, you'll be the victim. You may not be in a position to vie for a position today. But what about tomorrow? If not you, your daughter or son, or maybe just somebody in your family. So, maybe making them lose a leg or a neck. All right, so let's go to it and see.
Sifuna akuje asikuje. Sifuna is a great senator in Nairobi. And I have no problem with the DCP supporting Sifuna to be the senator of Nairobi. We have no problem. Sindio? William Ruto amesema hata huyu babu wino akinunua odi wino ukifukuza na William Ruto, this is your home. Kuja nyumbani. Sindio?
Okay, so those are part of the politics. Those are part of the politics. And don't forget that when something like this is said, it's actually a kind of serious discussion that is being engaged, okay? And I want us to go into something here. Now, talk about Halwale. Halwale was active. And I want you to see the battle that is going on now.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ride on the statement by Senator Chute in respect of the 130 head of cattle that disappeared in Isiolo. Mr. Speaker, this is a statement that speaks to the role of the police. The police in Kenya seems to be serving private individuals, like the crooks who took this 130 head of cattle, as if the matter is supposed to be countrywide. Today, Mr. Speaker, the police have come to Ikolomani, Isulu, Bushiangala, Musali village, because the community does not want foreigners to walk away with the gold in Ekolomani. Mr. Speaker, I want to condemn this because it has resulted this morning in the loss of 8 lives, 7 young people, and 1 police officer. Musali Secondary School has been rest down, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the country should ask itself, who is pushing the private...
Okay, so you get that I pushed this example, what Halwale was saying in Parliament, that the people of his own Ikolomani constituencies are suffering because they don't want gold to be sold out. Now, do you understand now why Murkomen is being crowned the master behind the goons? Do you get when Rigiji says that he wears the expensive clothes and expensive watches, but he is maybe bure kabisa? I hope you get it now. So when he's talking about the fact of calling upon goons, and yet he's the master behind it, when he has taken some few guys from Kariobangi the other day after the tear gas has been thrown into church, then now he calls, he just selects some young Luo guys from Kariobangi and takes them to court. Do you realize that is just a frame? It's a script, right? You just put a few people in, and of course at night they may even be called away and be taken away, because who cares? After the court and arrest, nobody follows on cases. We don't even know what happens, and we've known sometimes what happens. The government just puts them in, makes them testify, and then once they are placed behind bars, who follows? Of course, they can be paid and taken to other places, and they stay there. They run their business. That is some business, you know, some very lucrative business that is going on in Kenya. And of course, maybe you may not believe, but even if you fail to believe today, tomorrow you might be part of the victim or just understand what happens. So let's go to the final aspect. I close down this because I don't want to really take a lot of time on this. But I just wanted to finish with the very final thing that I had purpose to talk about here. Alright, so we've talked about this already. There was something else I was supposed to offer evidence. Let me just check. Let me check from the end, the other end. Unfortunately, the computer does not have enough power. But guys, I've not reminded you today about subscription. Continue subscribing, because for this one, we are still growing up on Life Saga TV, and we are purposing to have more and more political discussions in the house. But we need always to have time, because once you have enough time, it's easy for you to do a super analysis than when you are limited, okay? So for my failure to post for the last, I think it's about 4 days or 5, since, was it Sunday? Yeah, I've already told you it's because I'm a little bit busy and I can't make it to do the many videos as I've been doing always. So bear with me, but once I get a little time, I'll be doing it. Now, of course, the last thing to share is that BOYD actually came up with a speech. Once he spoke a very touching speech. He gave a very touching speech about the father. Let's just see this. I hope the computer will not go off, but if it goes, then we'll spare it and talk about it another time. Alright, so just a little bit of it. A deep analysis will be done later.
And may their spirits go before me with the fierce grace of ancestors who never bowed to fear. To the Almighty God, I offer my deepest gratitude. His hand has carried me through mourning, through battle, through a campaign that tested every fiber of my being. May my service reflect his wisdom, humility, and justice. Honorable Speaker, I am nothing without those who stood with me. To our party leader, Honorable Dr. Oburu Oginga, your steady hand anchored me when the ground beneath my feet felt uncertain. To the loyal friends of Ogai Mamilambo, led by our ODM chair, Her Excellency Gladys Wanga, you believed in a young, breathing orphan when many had written me off. You wrapped me in courage, loyalty, and a shield of protection when grief and duty collided. I will forever be indebted. I extend heartfelt appreciation to the broad-based fraternity, our members of parliament, MCAs, for standing firmly with me and with the people of Kasipul. To the many leaders, friends, and pillars of strength whose names cannot all be mentioned today.
Alright guys, so the computer has gone off, so I'll stop here. But of course Boyd was giving more of a tribute to the father and those who stood with him when the father died. And of course he gave also details about those who wanted his father dead and how that has inspired him to really go back for the seat. But I hope he will be more careful, because they always say the ghosts are always around us. They are not far from where we are. Once they begin haunting our families, unless we guard ourselves spiritually or in whichever way, it's so tough for us, okay? So let's stop there in our political analysis today. At least we've taken 40 minutes, and maybe tomorrow or the other day we'll be getting time to compensate for the lost moments where we've not posted videos on Live Saga TV. So bye-bye for now, but keep recommending, sharing the videos with your friends. Drop likes and also share the videos, and keep subscribing to the channel. So bye-bye for now. Good night for those whose moment is night, but good day for those who are just starting a day. And maybe good afternoon for others whose day is just at the prime. Bye-bye for now.